a soldier. That is not the dynamic of the particular male that we're talking about. Toby Maguire's job is not to teach a 20-year-old how to be an adult and a woman and to know her rights and to know her boundaries and her limits and what she likes and doesn't like. That's not Toby's job.
That's not a staff sergeant's job either, to teach you how to be a woman.
They're two completely different topics.
That's your logic. It's your logical application. Staff sergeant's job not to teach you how to be a woman either. Okay, when you're talking about a power imbalance, if you're saying that people are so young and impressionable they can't make the decision of who they date based on an age gap, which is absurd, this logic should still apply to the situations that they can engage in, which is contractual. For instance, signing a 4-year contract for your life, right, that you then hand over to the government. If you're incapable of determining who you can or can't date, why in the world would I think that you could determine whether or not you signed your life over to the U.S. government?
So hold on, again, two completely different topics. I did not say a staff sergeant was going to teach me how to be a woman. A staff sergeant would be teaching me how to be a soldier, just to clarify.
That's right.
And in terms of the topic of, them joining the military, et cetera, again, we're not talking about that. We're talking about whether the question was whether I personally find issue with a 20-year plus age gap. I personally find an issue with it. I don't think it should be illegal. Should the woman be able to decide to do that, or a man could be reversed? Absolutely, it's their choice. It's their business. I'm just saying the question was, do I have an issue with it? And I'm saying I have an issue with it.
So then here's what I'm doing. Right, and I'm going to use my best HR tone. What I'm doing is I'm taking your applied logic that you apply in this situation and also equally applying it to other situations to see if it's consistent. It's called an analogy, right? So in this analogy, if you have a personal problem with age gap relationships based on the fact that there's power dynamics and that the woman can be super suggestible to this 49-year-old who's super powerful and he's all-powerful Za, okay, then this would still apply to the fact that if she made other contracts or other, life choices, why is it that she's capable of those? You have no problem, but you have a problem in the instance of her picking her partner.
Again, these are two completely different scenarios with two.
You can keep saying that like we don't know that.
Listen, Andrew, we just disagree. So I think we should move on because we definitely disagree on this.
That's the argument?
I'm not going to keep arguing with you. I'm not going to. So we disagree. That's my opinion. I don't need you to agree with it. I don't need you to find logic in it. That's just my opinion. So I'm ready to move on.
Yeah, but I'm not really ready to move on. I'd really like you to answer to this because I don't understand the logic.
But you're going to be all by yourself.
Good for you.
Yeah, you tell that mean guy who wants logical consistency.
No, I love you, Andrew.
I don't think he's mean. I just think it's two completely different scenarios. It's not even the same thing.
Yes, are apples the same as oranges?
I'm moving on, Andrew.
Are apples the same as oranges? Can you answer any basic questions? Is up the opposite of down? No, just nothing. We're just not going to answer any questions at all. What we'll do is we'll just take positions that never defend them. I'm not going to do that.
I'm not here to debate you, Andrew. We've been through this before.
What are you here to do?
I'm here for the dating conversation. I'm not here for you.
This is a conversation about dating. We're talking about specifically a person who's dating someone who's far older, and I'm testing the logical consistency of your position.
But I don't need you to decide whether my logic about whether I think a 20-year age gap is appropriate or not. I don't need your approval on that.
I didn't say you needed my approval.
So then
we're having a conversation.
I don't care if you approve or not. When you're just like going to disrespect. Like I don't need that.
How's that disrespectful?
Andrew, I'm not going to do this with you this time. Are you going to
use the HR thing? Is it the wrong tone? Is it the HR tone? Are you going to give me the HR tone speech? Don't do the HR tone speech.
No, I'm not entertaining this, Andrew. I'm not today.
Not today.
Not today.
Okay. I mean, if you don't want to engage, you don't have to engage.
Yeah.
But just,
I'm in my healed girl era, Andrew.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to argue with you today. We're going to be friends again after this.
Oh, I don't take any of it personally. I don't understand why you take a position and then won't defend it.
Because I'm going to tell you why, if you genuinely care to know. Because we're talking about my opinion on whether a 20-year age gap is appropriate or not. I said no. Right? I don't think it's appropriate. And you tried to bring in logic about someone joining the military, which is a completely different, like not even in the same universe, topic-wise.
Okay, so do you realize that if you bring up a hypothetical, for instance, that it's not going to map on to reality or the situation exactly, but you can still test the logic of a person to see if they're consistent.
Need to...
Hang on.
Okay, all right,
Just let you finish.
Go ahead.
So All I'm trying to do is this. I get that you have a problem with an age gap, right? What I'm trying to determine is why. And if you have that problem, in this instance, I would assume that in an instance which was similar, where these same traits are applied, you'd have the same problem. Makes sense to me.
So where, again, I'll just recap it one more time for you, why it's totally different, why the logic cannot be applied to the same scenario.
Okay.
Because I'm talking about a young girl or boy, it doesn't matter what gender, going into a scenario where they don't even know they're left from right, they're up from down, they're brand new into being out of high school, they're just entering the world, etc. For a 49-year-old man or woman to come and pluck one of those two people up, you would. My first question is, why do you have an interest in someone that young? Like where is that coming from?
Because they want to bang them. They think they're hot.
And
what do you mean?
And if it's consensual, have fun, right? But I'm just saying, I personally find that disturbing. I don't think that's appropriate. Now, you want to...
What's inappropriate about it?
Why is it disturbing?
Because I think the 49-year-old... Like, if you guys are just trying to hook up, go for it, have fun, whatever. But I think once you start, like, in this scenario, because the question, going back to what the actual question was, which is, do I think Toby Maguire and this 21-year-old girl, what's my opinion on that? I'm telling you, I have an opinion of that that isn't agreeing with that dynamic, because that person is now in the limelight. They're surrounded by an environment where there's a lot of pressure. There's all of these different scenarios that they're going to be faced with, and they're so young. They don't even understand what that means. Now they're going to be painted as, dating someone who could be their father, in the news. Like, they don't have, I could just keep going. Like, I have a problem with it.
So then the same logic would apply the other way.
No, it's completely different.
Yeah, hang on. Is my turn?
Okay, go ahead.
It was.
I think we need a safe word, Andrew.
So I could swear that the logic would apply the exact same here. They're young and impressionable. They don't know, as you say, their left from their right. They're just plucked up. They're offered a bunch of incentives to do X thing, right? Mm-hmm. All of these things are true. Why is it that this woman, in this case, not even a hypothetical woman, why is it that they're incapable of judging whether or not they can date somebody with a significant age gap, but somehow are capable of deciding whether or not, hang on, let me finish. But somehow they're capable of deciding whether or not they could sign a contract for 4 years of their life, entering into a situation they also have zero experience in.
Completely different. First of all, I did not say, you're adding in things I didn't say. So I did not say they're incapable of deciding whether they want to be in the relationship. I already said, actually, very clearly, more power to them. The question was if I have an opinion on it, and I do. I think it's bad, and
yeah,
I don't like it.
But you have an opinion which is informed by a worldview.
I'm speaking from experience.
A worldview.
Okay, you got to let me finish now. Remember, we're doing this whole sharing thing. We're doing this whole sharing thing.
I'm just clarifying, so that you know you're speaking from a worldview, and I'm trying to investigate the worldview.
Sure. So I'm speaking from experience, because I was once a young 20-year-old girl, 15 years ago, that was in a situation.
Hey, you guys can't be doing sidebar conversations when somebody else is talking. Go ahead.
That was in a situation with someone significantly older than me, and it was not a good situation for multiple reasons. There is a power dynamic difference. I was uneducated, about the person. I didn't even know what to ask. I didn't know what screening questions to ask. It was an inappropriate, horrible situation, and it was a very toxic relationship. And now, really quickly, to address why I think it's so important that we separate these topics, is the military is an educational system. It is a career. It is guided by instruction and education and purpose and mission and all of these things. It has nothing to do with that person on the romantic level. There's a difference between the military putting you in boots and someone trying to fuck you. There's a big difference.
Because the last time I checked, the power imbalance which exists inside of the military is such that the SA rates for women are sky high due to this power imbalance, usually from male officers who have a significant age gap. Far more likely to be SA'd in that than you are in an age gap relationship.
I don't agree with that.
Since you're drawing, how can you disagree?
One, because I'm a woman in the military.
Would you like the stats?
Well, first of all, I want to know where you got the stats, because a lot of people throw out stats and they're not even verified stats. Second, I've been in the military. Second, I've been through an SA case, et cetera. So I know a lot about SA in the military, and I promise you it's a very small number. It's a very small number of the military. And now in terms of like,
Hey, wait, hang on.
No, I'm not done. And in terms of like, if we're
the question
comparing,
wasn't whether or not
I'm
a
not
lot of women
done.
get SA'd
I'm
in the
not
military.
done. I'm not done. If we're comparing rates of people who get SA'd outside of the military, it's a much higher number. So I want to be really careful that we're not conflating the rates of SA between the military and the civilian community, because they're not even close.
I was going to clarify it, and I'll clarify it right now. We're comparing the rates of SA in an age gap relationship versus the rates of SA if you're inside of the U.S. military as a female. We're comparing those two. Those are analogous, right? So now we have, yes, because they apply to your power imbalance. Your whole argument is about a power imbalance.
First of all, I don't have an argument.
So if you're a woman who can sign on to a power imbalance in the military, and you're actually more likely to be SA'd going into the military than you are to be in an age gap relationship, which is true, then I don't understand the argument of the power imbalance. That's what I don't get.
So, okay, first of all, I don't have an argument. This was just my opinion, just to be clear. Okay. I'm going to go back to that. The question was, do I agree or disagree with it? I don't agree with it. I don't need to prove my point to you, and I would really love to move on.
Well, I have a couple questions. So I guess perhaps what Andrew's trying to get at, so your issue with age gap relationship is the potential for harm. Is that one of the issues? Right? There's a potential for harm to the woman.
To me, like, I think there's a lot of successful relationships with that big of an age gap. So it's not that. It's not. I'm not like looking out.
Well, then why else would you? I mean, if there's no potential for harm.
Ooh, you okay? Yeah, I'm good. Thank you.
Why else, I guess, object to it if there's no potential for harm? Your grievance with it seems to be the potential for harm to the woman.
No, I just think that I'm more focused on the older person's reasoning for why they're seeking someone so significantly much younger.
So make an argument for why a man who's 40 ought to date a 30-year-old compared to a 20-year-old. Like, what's in it for him?
They're much closer in age. Like, so 10 years is appropriate to me. I would say that's like the max.
No. Make a compelling argument in terms of the benefits then to the man. If your issue isn't so much the harm to the woman, make an argument as to why men ought to date a 35-year-old over a 25-year-old.
Okay. So one, the woman, like if the end goal is that they're looking for successful long-term marriage, relationship, family, kids, whatever, you would prefer to date a 35-year-old over a 25-year-old because the 35-year-old has a lot more life experience. They're
more bodies.
That's not what I mean at all.
But when you say more life experience, more trauma, more baggage,
that's not what I mean at all.
More sexual partners.
No. Now you're adding in things I didn't say, Brian.
Life experience.
No, that's not what I said. That's not what I said.
Right, but I mean.
No, you're adding in things I did not say.
Right, but so okay, go ahead, continue with your point.
Yeah. So I'm talking about life experience as in contrast, is in what they want and what they don't want. And I'm talking about jobs, career, where they want to live.
Okay, career.
Who they want to hang out with, who they want to associate with, their ideology, their religion, whether they're spiritual or not. Like there's a lot of contrasting moments, which, by the way, I'm not at all talking about anything to do with relationships. I'm specifically talking about maturity in life. Maybe they've gone to college. Like, there's a lot of different things that will help shape the woman and the person that they're going to become.
Okay, so there's a couple things here. So you mentioned life experience. Do you think a woman's life experience is high on the totem pole in terms of what men find attractive or care about?
To be honest, high quality men would care about that.
About your life experience?
Yeah, high quality men would care about that.
So does that include both positive life experiences and negative life experiences?
For some people, I think conversations that I've had with extremely high quality men, I think they would care if you've had some contrast in your life so you can learn and grow and.
And how did you come to the conclusion that high quality men care about females' life experiences? Like how did you come to that conclusion? They told you?
I've had a lot of extremely intelligent conversations with a lot of extremely intelligent men, very high-level men, and they absolutely, if they're appropriate and they have good intent to be married, to have a wife, to have a family, to have children, etc., those are the things they care about.
A woman's life experiences is high on the totem pole.
I can tell, based on your line of questioning, that you're trying to, make a point, so just make the point.
No, but I mean, again, I'm asking you, do you think that a woman's life experiences are high on the totem pole in terms of what men find attractive or what they value in a partner?
So besides physical attraction, which I think is the baseline, I think physical attraction is absolutely the baseline, right?
Okay, is a 25-year-old woman more physically attractive at 25 or at 35?
Sometimes 25, sometimes not. If they've had some work done, they're probably a little bit better.
Do you think you're 34, correct?
I'm 34.
Do you think you're more physically attractive now at 34 than you were at 24?
Yes, I do.